Welcome back, my friends, to another video. Having some problems with the good old Honda 50. It's not really any problems. It's what every 50 deals with, and that is getting the carburetors gunked up. These things have the smallest pilot jet known to man, so if they sit at all for any length of period of time, even with ethanol-free gas, it will gunk those things up. Went out riding the other day with Jagger, took this thing out. It's probably been about 3 or 4 months since we've ridden it. Once I popped it in the third gear and blasted it up and down the road for a few different times, it actually would idle okay, but if I let it sit for more than a minute, it would eventually die. The other thing that I noticed is it was constantly leaking gas from the overflow right here, so that makes me think that it may not even be a jet issue. It may just be that float in there in the bowl. So today I'm going to get this thing taken apart. I'm going to get the carburetor pulled out and we'll get it all cleaned up. First thing I'm going to do is just remove the fuel line. So here's where it comes out of the petcock. You can see I have my gas turned off. So it just wraps around here, comes around, and then this is where it connects into the carburetor right there. The clamps are actually facing the other side, so I'm just going to come over here, drop down, then you can see right here where it connects. We'll just reach in here, squeeze that, and then we can just pull it back just like that. This one's never been removed before, so it may take just a little bit of force, but if you pull hard enough on it, it'll eventually pop off of there just like that. Next, we've got our 2 bolts connecting it to the intake elbow here. So this one on this side and then this one over here on the other side. Just remove this one over here on this side. Super easy. Take this one over here off on this side. I am going to go ahead and take the airbox out with it because there was some gas dumped in here in this little overflow tube as well. You can see that there's still a little bit residual in there. Just want to make sure that that filter's not gunked up. I want to make sure that that thing's not saturated with gas or anything. There's only one extra bolt you have to remove, and it's this one right up top right here. This one's kind of hard to reach with the 1/4-inch ratchet. There's a lot of stuff blocking it, so wrench works out much better. So just loosen this thing up. Once you loosen that up, it does allow this thing to kind of come apart, so the spacer does come out. This bolt holds the airbox up, and then it also holds this little wire in place. Just a couple of more things to remove now, since I am taking the airbox out as well. So this line's got to come off. So I've already loosened it a little bit, but it's got this little clip here. It's kind of a 2-hand job. But what you'll do is squeeze these together, and then if you'll actually twist it a little bit, it opens it up a little bit wider, and you can slide it all the way off of there. It's easier if you have 2 hands. You use one hand to clip this thing, and then use your other finger to just kind of pull this part back. Again, because I've never taken this one apart before, it's probably pretty tight on there. Give it a good tug, and it'll eventually come off. And the last thing we have to remove is the throttle assembly here. We'll just twist this, keep twisting. It is spring-loaded, and eventually this whole assembly will come out of there, and then there's your little needle that sits down in there. And now this whole thing will just slide right out. Now we've got our airbox, carburetor all taken out. Just loosen this little screw up right here. It's just this band that clamps the airbox onto the carburetor. And we can separate these two. Pull this tube off the clip so that it's completely separated there now. Just gonna take the airbox apart first. That way I can see what all is inside of there. Take this first screw out so we can separate the airbox, so it's just one at the top. And then take this other one out on the other side over here. Take the other screw out over here, and then we should just be able to separate this thing. Got this baffle that sits on the inside right there. And then there's this rubber seal on the inside right there. And then here is our filter. As you can see, it is very wet. It is soaked in gasoline. Just gonna take a paper towel first of all, just kind of soak some of this up as much as I can. We don't really do any wheelies on the 50, so I'm not really sure how that got saturated. However, it has fallen over a couple of times, so maybe that's how. We'll get the inside of the box cleaned off here as well. Get it all wiped down. Clean this baffle up. There's this other little rubber seal in here. I'm just going to pull it out so I can clean this off. Everything is nice and clean now, so we can go ahead and start putting the airbox back together. The seal drops in there just like that. You can see where the little notch is. It just fits right around there. Filter goes in first. Everything is clean. Then we have the little rubber seal here that goes on top of that. And the top piece goes on just like this. Our 2 little black screws go in right here. Screw it in there. Drop our other one in. Airbox is good to go. Now for the carburetor, you got 2 bolts holding the bowl in on the bottom. So one here, one here. So we'll unscrew this one. Pull that one out, and we should just be able to pull this bowl straight off of there. It may take a little bit of force. There we go. Oh my. And as you can see, the bottom of this bowl has all kinds of gunk in it. Makes perfect sense why I was having idling issues, and it makes perfect sense why I was leaking out of the bottom. Float was stuck. I just loosened it up. I'm going to go ahead and take the float out of here, so we'll loosen this screw up. And we should just be able to lift this bowl up and out of there just like that. Go ahead and spray some of this in here. We'll let it just kind of sit for a little while. I'm just kind of using my finger to kind of scrape some of that gunk out of there. Just dump that right there. We'll just spray a little more. I'm gonna set the float in here in this little bowl. We'll pull this pin out of there so we can clean that too. There's our little float needle. Give it a good spray. We'll let that sit for a little bit. I don't know if you can see there, I've gotten the majority of it out, but behind where that little piece sticks up for the overflow, it's kind of hard to get back there with my hands. What I'm going to do is spray a little bit more of the cleaner back there. And then what I've got are some small little toothbrushes. And so I should be able to scrub it a little bit better. Definitely don't want to use any steel or stainless steel on this because it'll probably scratch the metal on the inside. Just kind of scrub even on the walls too. It'll help get all that gunk out of there. We can just kind of dump that. I'm going to go ahead and try to clean some of this out. So I'm just going to spray around. Toothbrush here. Scrub it real good. Everywhere. Dump it out over here. I'm going to spray it a little bit inside of here, just to kind of clean all of this out. I'm gonna go ahead and pull the main jet out, so it's just a flat head. Stick it down in there, and it'll just unscrew right out of there, just like that. Go ahead and drop this in with the rest of the stuff to soak. And the main issue with idling is always the pilot jet, which is going to be this long one right here. I know this pilot tube is pressed in here, but I'm having a hard time getting it out. I did get the pilot jet out, however, I did have to change up my methods, so I switched to my bigger pliers. And what I ended up having to do is grab this thing just like this. And you don't really want to wiggle back and forth, which is what I was doing originally. The way that you want to take it out is you grab it just like this. And again, don't go back and forth. You just want to pry up and backwards, and it'll eventually pop right out of there. Before I actually try to clear this thing out, I am going to let it soak just like everything else. So we'll drop it in some carb cleaner, let that soak for a while, and then we'll try to clean out the center with a string of some sort. All right, it's been a couple of days. I let everything soak overnight. Still was having trouble cleaning out this pilot jet. My son actually has a little small guitar. He doesn't really know how to play it, but he does like to play around with it. Luckily, it came with extra strings, extra guitar strings of every single size. This is the best thing to use to actually clean these things out with. So this string right here, this is the smallest one. I was still having a hard time getting that thing cleaned out. One major reason why is because I was not using the right cleaner. I was using a brake cleaner and not a carb cleaner. Honestly, I didn't realize there was a big difference, but there definitely is. So 2 nights of this soaking and brake cleaner, and I still was not able to clean it out. Finally decided to run up to the auto parts store and got some of this B12 Chem Tool. Just 1 hour of soaking in this, and I was able to get it cleaned out with no problem. One key thing to take away from this is make sure you're using the right cleaner. So once I was able to get this thing to soak in the B12, I was able to stick the small piece all the way through there. And then after that, I moved up to the next size, which is going to be this one right here. This one is a really tight fit, but it is the exact size, so it will go through. So you kind of have to wiggle it around a little bit. And as you can see there, it goes all the way through. This thing is completely cleared out. Next size up on the strings is too big. Same thing with the rest of the parts. I went ahead and sprayed some of that B12 in here, let all the parts soak in here. Then one last problem that I had is I knew that with that brake cleaner, it dries out a lot of your rubber components. I sprayed a lot of it on the inside here. I sprayed it all around this seal. And what I started noticing is that this seal was starting to peel up. When I peeled it back a little bit, you really can't see it on camera there, but it is starting to crack. So I didn't want to put this back on there with this seal because it was going to end up leaking anyway. The rest of the seals were fine. I didn't really clean this thing with it, and I didn't spray anything on the inside of there. I did spray it on this side, but none of it really reached this seal. And one good way of testing it is you can just kind of take your fingernail And when you press in on it, as long as it still feels rubbery, it's good to go. This thing you can feel, it feels like hard plastic now. It doesn't even feel like a rubber seal. So I did order a new gasket for this. This is not OEM. I did get it off of Amazon. I'm going to go ahead and pull this old gasket out of here. It is kind of sealed in with some kind of glue. Look at that. You can see it split right in exactly where that spot was at. We'll just peel this all away. Go and spray a little bit more cleaner in there just to clean the rest of it out. Use my good old toothbrush to kind of scrape some of that glue out of there. So we should just be able to put this new seal on. Just line everything up. Just make sure when we put the bowl on that nothing comes out of place. I guess that's why they put the glue on there. First thing that I am going to do is go ahead and get this pilot jet back in here because it does have to be pressed in. So it'll fit down in there just like that. I'll pull this rubber still back off. We'll put that on last. All I'm going to do, just like pulling it out, I'm going to go ahead and just grip it kind of at the top with the pliers. I'm going to grip it for just a little bit further up so that the pliers are just a little bit above that. That way when I hit this, I'm not actually hitting the jet, I'm just hitting the pliers. That actually worked pretty good. It seats right down in there. Next is going to be the main jet, so it'll go in just like this. We'll screw it back in with our flathead. Doesn't need to be super tight, just make sure it's in there nice and snug. The float needle will slide into the float just like that. So it'll hang just like that. This will slide over, it's going to slide down in there, and then we can take our little rotating pin, just kind of tilt your float back, and it'll slide all the way through. Then we can take our little set screw. This is what holds that little pin in place. Again, not super tight, just needs to be snug. Now our float bounces up and down nice and easy. Should have no problem sealing it off, shouldn't have any more leaks. Now to put our little rubber gasket on. That seal definitely takes a minute to kind of get it to stay in place. So I'm going to put this on as easily as I can so that I don't move anything. It's going to go on just like this. And then I should just be able to put my screws directly in there. Go ahead and tighten this one down. I'm gonna put some pressure on that, make sure that I keep that thing from moving. Tighten this one down all the way. Carburetor is all put back together, so before I get it back on the bike, I am gonna go ahead and install the airbox back on first. Airbox is just gonna fit right back in there just like that. You can get it lined up with my little hole where the screw goes. Don't forget to reconnect the little wire that's here. I should just be able to slide that up in there, put my bolt through the wire, and then I can go ahead and thread it on in. Take our pliers, twist that, and slide that up on there. I'm going to keep this just a little bit loose before I tighten it up all the way. That way it gives me just a little bit of clearance so I can get the carburetor in there. This carburetor should fit right up in there just like that. And then you can go ahead and push it on into the airbox. Now we can take our little spacer and slide it up in there between the elbow and the carburetor. Make sure you put it in there right. The O-ring faces the elbow because the carburetor has an O-ring that faces this side. So I've got one of my bolts here. I'll just slide it on in. Push it through. Just thread it in a little bit of the way. And then we'll take the other bolt on the other side. Push the spacer up, thread it through. Go ahead and put our throttle tube back in there. Be careful with that needle. We don't want to mess it up. It does have to go in a certain way. There's this little notch right there. So you'll just slide it on in. And then what I do is just kind of twist it until it falls into place. So you'll feel when it seats into place, that little black piece that's in there, it will go all the way in. If it's sticking out at the top anywhere, you know you don't have it in all the way. And then you can just twist your cap to thread it on. Twist your throttle at the top, just make sure everything feels nice and smooth. It does. Now we can go ahead and fully tighten everything. So I'm going to start with the airbox piece back here. Just make sure that this bolt holding it on is tightened down all the way. Next is going to be this little clamp that actually connects the airbox to the carburetor. So it's just a little hose clamp. Tighten it down as far as it'll go until you meet resistance, and then pull it back just a little bit. That way if you ever have to take it off again, you're not trying to reach all the way under there to do it. Now we can tighten down the bolts that connect the carburetor to the little elbow here. I'm sure there's a torque measurement on it, but They're only 8mm bolts, so shouldn't be too tight. Just get them nice and snug so that those O-rings seal. And the last thing that you're going to want to do is reconnect the fuel line. So just reach around here. We'll push it up on there. May need some pliers. Have to do it from the other side. And the 50 should be good to go. Finally got some nice weather. This is going to be the first start of the 50. So as you can see here, everything is nice and cool. Nothing's hot, nothing's been turned on. I'm going to go ahead and flip the petcock to on. Go ahead and put our choke on. And let's crank this thing up. Probably take a minute to get some fuel running down in there. We'll have to let it warm up for a second. Go ahead and drop the choke a little bit. No fuel dripping from the overflow, that's good. Bike is all warmed up. Choke is all the way down. This thing is idling very, very nicely now. Go for it. I got you. Oh yeah, this thing is running absolutely perfect now. I did have to adjust the idle screw some. We came out here, I was riding it first, and it kept bogging down, and I realized when I took that thing apart that I had to adjust that idle screw down just a little bit. Get it. You got it. No leaking out of the fuel line. As soon as he comes to a stop, it idles perfect. It's not even close to dying. Hey, come to a stop for just a second. Oh yeah, this thing is idling perfect now. If you're having idling issues, if you're having problems with it leaking from the overflow because of that float, cleaning that carburetor, cleaning that pilot jet is definitely the fix. Really hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, if it helped you out, hit that like button. If you want to see everything else going on with the channel, see everything else going on with the bikes, hit that subscribe button, and I will catch you guys next time.